Today on Wolf Pack Weekdays, like I promised, we're going to be talking about the 10 best wrestlers in the business right now. Welcome back to Wolf Pack Weekdays. Like I said, today is all about the 10 best wrestlers currently wrestling right now in 2016. So before I begin, I just want to tell you guys how this was kind of set up. Me and about 6 other people put together a list based on our opinions of the best singles competitor wrestlers that are wrestling currently today, like as in 2016. Even if they're injured, but just singles competitors only, so no tag teams, but men and women are fair game. And it was based on 3 scorings. And those scorings, which will be easier if I just do this, because I came up with it, but it has details in it that are much easier to read off to you guys, is based on technical, style / character, and creativity. Technical is how they execute moves, how they protect themselves and the other person in the ring or other people, and how they sell the moves, and if they botch, you dock points. And then style and character, which is how they carry themselves to fit their persona. If they sell that they're a heel or a face, their entrance, their finishing moves, the things that make them unique. How you rate that. And then creativity, how they add to their movesets. Is it the same repeated sequences over and over and over again, or do they actually throw in new stuff every match that make you want to watch them more? That's basically how we did it, and it was based on 1 to 10, 1 being the worst, 10 being the best, with 1.5 being a completely legitimate score. And one last thing before we jump into it. Basically, this is a list based on the world. So that means New Japan Pro Wrestling is fair game, Lucha Underground is fair game, WWE is fair game, AAA is fair game. Basically, any wrestling promotion that you watch, even if it's something local, you could have put their name in there and given them a score. So that's what's interesting about this, is it's actually basing on people that aren't just in WWE, but naturally, the list is mostly WWE because it is supposed to be the upper echelon of wrestling. It's supposed to be where everybody wants to go to. So, of course, everybody who did the list is obviously a WWE fan, even if they do watch other promotions. So all of them combined together to get an average overall score. It comes out really close between a lot of them, but there are a lot of WWE people in there. So just keep that in mind. But now, we're going to get into the list. So starting from number 10 is Sami Zayn. Sami Zayn comes in with an 8.7 overall. He had a really high technical score, but his character needs a lot more than what it is. And that's what I kept seeing repeated on the list. That's why he got the lowest score out of the 10. It's a fair score if you ask me. He's a good wrestler. He's a great personality, but he just needs more to push himself to the upper level. Because right now, I wouldn't see him even getting a mid-card slot high end of a pay-per-view. You know, only if he wins a title will he ever get a push. So we'll see what happens. He could go up and score over time, but he's a 10 right now. Number 9 on the list is a guy from Lucha Underground, Cero Miedo himself, Pentagon Dark or Pentagon Jr. Pentagon Dark comes in with a rating of 8.9. A lot of people like him. I love Pentagon Dark. He is a brutal, no holds barred, almost like a strong style in Lucha Underground. It's awesome to watch him wrestle, and his promos are amazing. His Cero Miedo thing, which means zero fear, is one of the greatest chants I've ever seen, and greatest like persona pushing. Just it's great. He's great. He's great. The only thing that's really holding him back was he is very repetitive on certain moves, which is why creativity kind of docked him a lot. He does still have an 8.9, just missed out of the 9, which is actually the score of the next person on the list. So he was that close to being higher. But the next person on the list will actually kind of surprise you. Number 8 on the list from NXT is Asuka, the only female on the list that got a high enough score from everyone to actually be on it with the averaging that I used. And she comes in with a score of 9, just straight 9.0, just perfect 9. And honestly, I agree with this completely. I had her at like 8 on my list, but a lot of people actually had her at 4 and 3, so they have a lot of faith in her, and I agree with them. She brings strong style. She brings personality. The only thing that really docked her points was the English. She is very new to America. She doesn't speak fluid English, and nobody's docking her for that. It's just that on the main roster of WWE, she's going to struggle because of that. So once she learns a little bit more English, which she's obviously been working on and getting much and much better at, I think that score will go up. But right now, she's number 8 on the list, and it's awesome that a female actually made it. I was super happy about that. So number 7 on the list from New Japan Pro Wrestling is Kenny Omega. Kenny Omega, wow. This guy got a perfect 10 on his character and style from like 5 out of the 6 people, including myself. He is one of the most entertaining personas in New Japan, and that's saying something because there's a lot of talent in New Japan, especially in the Bullet Club. You see a lot of very good wrestlers and a lot of great personalities in that, and he's one of them. He's amazing. When he comes out with a broom or a mop and stuff, it's just so funny. And the guy's awesome. He's a great dude. He actually did a bunch of videos playing against Austin Creed, who you know as Xavier Woods from WWE, in a Street Fighter tournament, which was hilarious because they were just talking and like cutting promos before the match. It was a lot of fun, and he's a great wrestler. Watch, if you guys need to or want to, the match between him and Finn Balor. There'll be a highlights out on YouTube. It is one of the most technically sound matches I've ever seen. The only thing that really docked him was he is kind of repetitive on moves, but his technical skill was easily a 9. So that's why he got a 9.1. I don't think I said that. He got a 9.1, which a lot of these scores are going to be really close like that. But he's number 7 on the list. Number 6 on the list is the Eater of Worlds from WWE, Bray Wyatt. Bray Wyatt comes in with a score that is 9.2, so only a little bit edged out Kenny Omega. He is a perfect 10 on character, just like Kenny Omega. His technical skill is what docked him a lot. A lot of people saw him botching more and more recently, which I even saw at TLC on Sunday. He botched really hard, and I think he hurt Heath Slater. So I understand why they docked him. I gave him a much higher score. He was actually like number 4 on my list. But I was glad to see him on the list. He's number 6. I think it's a pretty fair score with a 9.2. And that's it. If you don't know who Bray Wyatt is, I don't know what you're doing watching this video, because you're obviously not a wrestling fan, because holy crap, he's like the new Undertaker. Like, if they push him in the right way, which they seem to start doing, then he's gonna blow up in popularity even more than he already is. Okay, so number 5 on the list is currently, as you're watching this video, which is the 6th of December 2016, the WWE Universal Championship. I hate that title. Kevin Owens. Kevin Owens comes in with a score that's 9.4. Everybody loves Kevin Owens. He's creative. His persona's kind of what docked him a little bit. A lot of people thought he was annoying, and they even wrote that in there, but you know, I see it as he's playing the character. He does a very good job with it. He sells that he's a heel very, very easily. He wins matches like a heel. He does moves like a heel. He does really funny things in the ring. Like, one thing I can think of is when he was going in Survivor Series to tag Roman Reigns, and he goes, "You didn't say please," and just goes and cannonballs the guy. It was amazing. It was a great moment. It made me laugh. And I love watching the guy wrestle. His moveset is, it seems like it's endless. He does all sorts of crazy stuff someone his size shouldn't be able to do or normally wouldn't do. And he's entertaining. That's why he's so high up on the list. Honestly, I had him at number 3. So you can kind of see what happened there. People kind of knocked him down for his annoyingness, I guess. But I think it's part of the character. I think he should be higher. But this isn't just my opinion. So what are you going to do? Number 4 is another WWE guy who is my favorite wrestler. Since CM Punk left, he kind of just stole my heart. I love his character. I love his moveset. I love his finisher. I love everything about him. It's Finn Balor. Finn Balor comes in with a 9.6, so he was much higher on a lot of people's scales. The thing that I noticed was there was 1 or 2 lists he actually wasn't on, which I think hurt him overall in the average score, because it was based on everybody's list total score, like their overall scores together, and then I averaged them. And I think that hurt him because he's injured right now. I think people kind of forgot about him for the list. I think he would probably be number 2 on this list if everybody remembered him. But the top 3 is completely fine with me. Literally, the top 4 is completely fine with me. The fact that Finn Balor's that high, I'm good with. I had him at number 2, but hey, that's just me. Okay, so number 3 is the former WWE and United States champion at the exact same time for the first time ever, Seth Rollins. And I know that was a while ago, but it's like the one big thing he has. I mean, he cashed in Money in the Bank for the first time at WrestleMania, but that's like a huge thing. 2 titles at once and being the first one to ever do it in the WWE, that's pretty cool. So that's why I said that. Anyway, his score is 9.7, just barely edged out Finn Balor. I mean, I did the math like 3 times because I was kind of like, because he was actually, I think Seth Rollins was 4 on my list. Dude gets a 10 for technical every time. Guy never botches anything. He does everything perfect, and he does everything so well, and it makes it look so good. His character, I think a lot of people kind of docked him because he doesn't really have a character, and some of those people that were doing the list really grew up with the whole Attitude Era where people were kind of over the top, so that kind of hurt him on those scores, and I think that's what really knocked him down a little bit. But no, his moveset's amazing. His moveset's great. He does repeat a little bit, which is why I docked him to rank 4 on my list, is he repeats a lot of things. Like, there's only so many times I can see you go for a Phoenix Splash and then land on your feet and roll out. You got to eventually land it so I can kind of guess a little bit, not just expect it, you know? But yeah, he's number 3 on the list. And now here comes the top 2. At number 2, another person from Lucha Underground, and a guy that I think deserves this more than anybody to be on this list, and how high he is makes me so happy. Prince Puma. Some people may know him as Ricochet. He comes in with a score of 9.8. I mean, there's only one person that could have beat him out for the top spot, and that guy did. I mean, he is amazing. His finisher is one of the coolest things I've ever seen. I think it's the 650 splash. I don't know why I'm blanking on that, but he literally does a 450 and then rotates again and lands on his back onto their stomach. It is so athletic, so cool. It looks devastating, and it's so hard to do right, and he does it right every time. The guy's technical score is a 10. His creativity, a 10. The only thing that docked him a little bit on everybody's score was his personality, because for the first 2 seasons, basically, of Lucha Underground, the guy barely talked. It was so... I don't know why they did that. I don't know why they made him the silent champion for a while, especially in Season 1. But they did, and it really hurt his score. Obviously, didn't hurt it too much, because, I mean, his character's still amazing, and people gave him a fair score. It was like 9.6s, 9.7s, but that still knocked him down to a 9.8. I'm glad he's up there. I think he could easily have the best match in the history of wrestling with the guy that's ahead of him. And I don't know if it's out there, but I hope it is. I hope it happens one day, because the number 1 person is AJ Styles. The phenomenal one, AJ Styles. This guy literally got a perfect 10 on 5 of the 6 lists, including my own. This guy was number 1 before I did anything. I knew if I was going to average him, it would be a 10, because the other score was a 9.9. The dude is insane. He is so technical. He has so many different moves. His character is great. Whether he's a heel, whether he's a babyface, you hate him or you love him, and that's amazing. That's the sign of one of the greatest wrestlers you will ever see, and he is one of the greatest wrestlers you will ever see in a squared circle. The guy has wrestled everywhere and been champion everywhere. The greatest match I can personally say that I saw of his wasn't in the WWE. It was actually in New Japan Pro Wrestling with Shinsuke Nakamura. Go look up that match. It is one of the most exciting highlight reels I've ever seen, and it is so fun to watch. Speaking of Shinsuke Nakamura, I'm surprised he's not on there. I think he should be on there, but he just didn't get enough votes. Maybe it's because he's in NXT and he's not such a polarizing figure as Asuka, but who knows? It's people's opinion. But yeah, AJ Styles, number 1 on the list, and I agree with it so wholeheartedly because I gave him a perfect 10. Literally, it was the easiest score I gave. I just went 10, 10, 10. You're done. He's number 1. I knew it because people look at him as the example of what to be and how to do everything right. He's so good. He's so talented. He cares so much about the business and how good he does things. And phenomenal is a great word for him. Well, that's it for the list, guys. Let me know if you guys want to see some more like wrestling stuff, maybe about WWE, maybe about Lucha Underground, just more wrestling content in general. I'm a huge wrestling fan. I watch it every pay-per-view. I have a great time with it. So if you guys want to see more, just let me know in the comments. And with that being said, thank you guys for watching. Subscribe for more. If you have any suggestions for the show, use the hashtag WPW down in the comments or on Twitter, and your ideas might just get featured on the show. Thanks for watching, guys, and I'll see you next time.